Invincible Season 4 Episode 1 review. It's finally here. Let's get into it. Hello there guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm the Rogue Witcher. Thank you for joining me. In today's video we will be reviewing Invincible Season 4 Episode 1. I am super excited to get back into reviewing stuff, and Invincible is a new show for me to be reviewing. I've just caught up over the last month and watched all 3 seasons, binged watched it, so I'm very excited that it's back and that I can finally talk about Invincible with all of you as a new fan. So I'm not going to waffle on any longer. Let's get straight into the review because we have a lot to unpack on episode 1. We start off with the fallout, basically, in a cool montage of the world being overrun right now. The events of season 3's finale, when he had to take on all the multiversal versions of Invincible and then Conquest. There's a lot of heroes that have died across the world, a lot are injured, a lot of debris. You know, first responders are spread very thin, trying to put everything back together. So villains and criminals are taking advantage and are now really coming out of the woodworks and putting a lot of pressure by doing a lot of stuff and criminal activity. So the remaining heroes and first responders are spread very thin, and it's the perfect time for them to act now because obviously of how little heroes there are left. It's perfect for them to get away with stuff and to cause more damage. So we get a cool montage seeing of all our heroes pretty overrun and overwhelmed. And I just thought it was a really cool way to start the episode. What's interesting is you can really see Mark struggling, not just physically with, you know, the robot's arms and leg over his broken bones. You can see the toll it's took on him. You know, people are not, and you can't really blame them. They're not taking to Mark. They're very upset with Mark. And yeah, it's not his fault. But at the same time, of course they're going to blame him. There's versions of him going around killing people, destroying things, Conquest, and this isn't the first time with Omni-Man. You know, unfortunately, even though he's doing his best and he's trying, he's the last one standing after these events, and people can't help but 2 and 2 together and blame him, that if it wasn't for him, maybe this wouldn't happen. Of course, that's not the case, and he's doing his best, but a lot of people are dying, and a lot of property and things are getting destroyed, and he's at the center of it all. So he's really struggling with the toll of what's actually happened and the emotional stuff of that, and now the resentment of the world that's on his shoulders. We get a very cool fight scene against this dinosaur type creature, which was pretty cool, and his take is that Mark's doing the right thing, that he's, you know, you're helping the world because we're overrun, we're overpopulated, and thinning the crowd ain't a bad thing. And we see Mark get a little bit overzealous, shall we say. He's beating him, he beats up the dinosaur, but then he turns back into the human, and it seems like it's out of his control. So you would think sympathy, but no, Mark goes almost to finish him off with a sort of mentality of, well, I can't really take the risk that you could turn into him again. The Guardians of the Globe turn up, and he does the right thing eventually, and he lets him go. He realizes, well, if this, you know, if it's not this bloke's fault, then I can't do anything about, you know, I shouldn't be hurting him. But it's the early signs that Mark is sort of not taking any risks, and he's sick of seeing people get hurt and things get destroyed, and he's sort of looking at it now that if I have to do the hard things, you know, if I have to cross that line to save lives, then maybe I'm prepared to. And I think that scares him and worries him. We get a cool scene, a very cool scene, classic dad sort of, you know, telling Mark, you know, maybe it's for the best if you're not with my daughter, because every time she gets hurt, is because of you. And it's not a massive scene, but I just like when we humanize these superheroes, because they are, you know, they are human. I know, half human, half Ultramite, but he is. And it's also cool to see those problems. You know, obviously it's going to link into Eve's powers as well, that I'm sure that her dad's really not going to like Mark even more. But it's just great to humanize him and just also, you know, boil him down to, yes, he is still a very young kid having to do all this crazy stuff, but we love it because he is invincible. Huge battles emerge. We've got 2 on the go. So first we have Universa attacking the power plant. Now what's interesting, I'm pretty sure she's voiced by Michonne, aka my favourite character from The Walking Dead. A lot of Walking Dead alum do voice characters, so it is pretty cool. She has a pretty cool intro. She appears, she's obviously alien. She has this really cool staff that absorbs power, which I think is the source of her power, and a very complex issue that she is doing this because her planet needs power, her people are dying, and so unfortunately it's survival of the fittest. I need to take this for my people, and if your people suffer, so be it. Mark is obviously called because he has a contract to defend, and him and Eve fight her, and it was a pretty cool fight scene. I like the way it's done. I always love the fight scenes in Invincible. I think it's done, choreographed with the animations done brilliantly. But Eve's powers, as we have seen glimpses of, are not working. The effects, obviously what happened with Conquest and her sort of evolving, are obviously this is the fallout of that, and it's going to take some time, but unfortunately she's not at full capacity. She still manages to knock her out though in a badass punch, and it's just as well, because just in time, because we have a huge chaos thing that is going on. Is it the Sequids? I think it's the Sequids. Sequids. There we go. I'm pronouncing it wrong, guys. My apologies. The Sequids attack. You know, we saw them at the end of last season that they did get off Mars, and over these last few months of, you know, the heroes being so preoccupied with, you know, the fallout of what happened in season 3 and stopping all the new threats, they've sort of been able to go under the radar, underground, capturing people. No one's really took any notice, building up their numbers to then attack and overtake. Really cool battle and fight scene. The Guardians of the Globe turn up, and they are sort of using some technology to sort of, I can't remember what it was called, but it's sort of like a high-pitched frequency that sort of blasts and it sort of frazzles them, and the Sequids fall off humans, and then they dart them to safety with teleportation darts. I think it's pretty cool. We have the new captain as well, Captain Britt. Him and, you know, new Rex don't exactly see eye to eye, but I really liked this scene and the way it unfolded. We then have, of course, Mark turn up to help. They're very overmatched and overpowered. We still don't have Immortal. He needs to get over it and get back in the game, by the way. And we see Mark taking them on, but time is running out. It doesn't look like it's going to go our way. It looks like that maybe they're going to escape. The shield's at like 1%. Now, Bulletproof is coming. He's coming with one of these, with one of the bracelets to stun him. But Mark, as I said earlier in the episode, he's of this mind now that I just can't take the risk. It's at 1%. Now, it may only be 2-3 seconds. I have to wait longer for Bulletproof to bring me this, and it could all be okay. But what if it isn't? What if this breaks? Doesn't matter if I stop him. They're all going to fall out, and then we're in real trouble. So Mark does what he thinks is the lesser of two evils, and he kills the guy. Now, obviously, he was being possessed, but he's still a human being. And unfortunately, he had to do it. You can see the Guardians of the Globe are pretty stunned. The episode ends straight after, so we won't see the fallout of what people think about that. But it's just showing where Mark is right now and how he's evolved. You know, he never wanted to kill, but right now he's sort of not in a position where he can choose. It is survival of the fittest right now. He can't keep fighting at half measures against people that are prepared to kill and be like, yeah, okay, I'm not a killer, but all these people are being killed because I'm not prepared to this one thing. It's a moral grey area. I believe he did the right thing. At the end of the day, it's like with first responders and police officers and army and that, you know, if taking one life to save multiple lives, then that's the choice. And I feel that was the choice he had to make. Now, obviously, some people who are big comic book fans, superhero fans, don't like that. You know, they like that Batman and Superman don't kill. Obviously, some do, especially in the Marvel Universe. But for me, it's a pretty clear choice. He had to do it. He had to, you know, yes, maybe Bulletproof. Maybe he could have waited for Bulletproof. But what if in that 1 second, because it was at 1%, the shield falls and they just overtake a whole city, and then there's no quarantine zone for them to work in. They'll eventually run out of darts and all that as well. So I think Mark made the right choice, and it's going to be interesting to see how it, you know, we know he feels these things, and he's already got a lot of weight on his shoulders, a lot of regret and a lot of feeling, and it's just mounting up for him, especially being so young. Special mention, I just forgot, I really like Oliver's new suit. I think it's very cool, and I like the fact he's growing and he's becoming a teenager. He looks just like Mark. I really like Oliver as a character, and so yeah, I'm really enjoying that dynamic. We get a post-credit scene, as we often do sometimes in Invincible. This really annoys me. Conquest is alive. Now, come on, Mark, basically, he did kill him. I know in season 3, Cecil's like, no, we need him. Why? Why do we need him? You're not going to be able to convert him to fight against them. And now he's escaped. But, you know, he said in season 3, oh, yeah, but if he even moves, we can blow this whole thing. But yeah, but it ain't going to kill him. He's Viltrumite. So that was stupid, and I'm a bit annoyed by that. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, because I'm happy the character's still alive, basically, because I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I love his voice, and I'd love to see a rematch or him versus Omni-Man. That would be some really cool fight action. but I just think how they've done it is pretty silly in my opinion. But overall, a really strong and good first episode of Invincible. I cannot wait. I just want to say, sorry it's late. I had 2 trailer reactions already scheduled for Wednesday, so this is why this episode's coming out on Thursday, and because it is a 3-episode premiere, and I want to do a review for each episode, so I don't have to rush over, you know, some stuff and do one video for just all 3. Episode 1 will be out, as you know, on Thursday. You're watching it now. Tomorrow will be episode 2 review, and then the day after will be the episode 3 review. Going forward though, all episode reviews will be on the day of release. Just wanted to clear that up for you guys. Thank you for understanding. And yeah, just absolutely loved episode 1. So buzzing Invincible's back. All right then guys, that is the video. Tell me what you think down below. What is happening with Eve's powers? Conquest escaping, what do you make of that? And is this new dark Invincible Mark a character you like, or are you worried where he's going? Let me know in the comment section below. I reply to every single comment. I love engaging and talking geek nerd stuff, as you can see. Please, if you can, smash a like on the video on your way out. YouTube's algorithm is all about engagement, and when you're a small channel, you need engagement for them to push you, to be seen, to be grown. And obviously that is my end of year goal, which is 1,000 subscribers. I'm on just below 500 now, so if you want to stick around and subscribe and support, I would love to have you. But the most important thing is thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking on, especially if you stay to the end. That's the very most important thing. So I will see you in the next video, guys. I'll catch you as always next time. I've been the Rogue Witcher. Adios.